I'm pretty excited because this whole thing is actually coming as we have a new release probably next week, early next week. We have a big IT Nation event in our platform, so we didn't want to have it this week, but everything is tested and you're gonna see that it's pretty much ready to roll. So during this webinar, I want to make sure that we are going to focus on not clicking through stuff, details, but a couple of bigger ideas which I believe it's going to make or break your 2021 quarterly business reviews and client engagements. So these four ideas I'm going to go through, and we are going to see how this whole thing is going to get together. So let's start with these four big ideas. The first idea is to actually make sure that if you have a quarterly business review or any type of client engagement, let's define the value, what it's for you and what is for the client. It might be obvious, but we're going to see that it's not that obvious for many, many reasons, as you already have some kind of obligations from clients and you already did this. So you have to kind of reframe the expectations. The second thing is that your account management, VCIO activities always been crunched, and it's going to be always crunched, time crunched. You will have not so much time because the client doesn't have time, or it's a really precious limited time we have, and we have to make sure that we are going to be able to design this process in order to be able to cater that. The third one is that create the time on this little time you have with the client for the most important elements. And the last but not least is that when you chase for projects and opportunities, make sure that you are spending time on the opportunities, what matters, and is going to make money for your organization and help to grow and help to thrive your MSP. So guys, if you have any question along the way, I'm opening up the Q&A section, so just hammer that. And I'm going to be not using slide decks today. I'm going to use our help. And it's kind of funny, we do a webinar and I'm going to go through our help, but I want to make sure that as we go through, you're going to see where to find things. We are not just using the help to put how to videos, how to click through, how to connect with ConnectWise and things like that. We want to make sure we are giving you the guiding principles, what's behind the platform, how we think, and how we design the software for those processes. So let's start with a little poll. I try to start with the first, and I'm going to launch right now. So it's going to be a question for you, and please, I give you like a minute, but just brought this whole value proposition up. So what is your agenda for your QBR? So when you have a quarterly business review, imagine how much time you have for that. Please click on the items you want to talk and you want to include in your QBRs. If it's one, if it's all of them, I want to make sure you are basically going through those items which you think important. IT strategy is the big technology strategy, business improvement opportunities. You see something they can do with Microsoft Teams or SharePoint or something like that. Technology roadmap based on your tech stack, what different implementations they might have in the future, the technology budget, how much money they should spend on different items, satisfaction, your services, renewals, expansion, cybersecurity, more, cloud-related services, technology stack adoption, and also hardware, software, asset lifecycle management, and make sure they are going to purchase and invest back to their stuff. So let me check, and thank you. I just get what I needed. So let's check the poll and share the results for a second. Guys, this is everywhere, right? So it's kind of funny. It's not just like we don't really have a big winner because it's okay, business improvement opportunities. This is high level, right? But if you see what most people do on a QBR, they have really limited time for that type of engagement, right? But if you see, it's like different type of cars in the market. Do I want to have a car which is sporty or big? Or I can pull my camper, or I can, you know, simply go to A to B. There are many options in the market. And if you see that you have to somehow choose what you're gonna do, other than that, you can't have enough time in a QBR to go through all of that. So let's see a little bit of what's behind that. So if you see, the first item which we have on this big QBR process is preparation. After the preparation, you go to the execution. So if you're not able to prepare properly, the execution is not going to be, you know, productive. And one of the biggest teaching we have for years is to define your QBR's value proposition. Define what you would like to get out of this whole relationship. And the problem is, like, if define critical roles, perfect. I wanted to make sure that if you get this article, you can click through like me. So that's there. And we wanted to make sure that we can convey this message that the QBR is a jolly joker, and you have to define what you would like to get out of that. And the most critical thinking process here is who is delivering the QBR and who is on the other end receiving the QBR. So if you have a conversation with a, let's say, based on a VCIO, that's going to be a business strategic discussion. There are many points. You can have 2, 3, 4 hours just talk about business improvement opportunities, but you have to talk that with an executive. But if you have like technical account management, like best practice adoption, hardware, software lifecycle management, whatever it is, it's a tactical technology decision. So you have to make sure that your QBR, your quarterly business reviews, are reflecting of what is the value you would like to have with the client. And there is a chance you shouldn't use technical account management part on the QBR, just the VCIO or technical account management, technical VCIO. You have to make some decision what you are going to do, because if you want to do all of them, guess what's going to happen? Nothing is going to be delivered. It's going to be a packed meeting, 90 minutes, you have a lot of agenda, you are preparing for everything, and 10% of that preparation is going to be actually landing there. So I want to make sure that you understand that you can actually create this type of QBR thinking process. How? It's if you move now a little bit below, you have a QBR playbook. QBR playbook means that you're able to distribute these type of conversations over the year. So you're not doing each and every conversation every quarter, but you have a nice rhythm of different type of conversation along the year. And the best thing to see is that if you have our QBR templates, the QBR templates you can pick from the platform are basically designed on different type of engagements. If you have a high level client, mid-size client, or basic level client, you have specific amount of time. So the big agenda items you showed me on the poll, probably viable for the expert QBR when you have so much time in the year to go through all of that. But for a small client who is paying $1,500 a month, you actually can't economically deliver that many items with a client quarter by quarter. So if you go through this article, you're going to see how to make decisions, how to judge your time, and what type of templates you're going to use through the quarterly business review process. So that's the main idea here, is that you make a decision, and if you make a decision, you are able to deliver those QBRs productively and really great client experience. But if you don't know, if you don't have the end in mind, what you would like to get out of that, that's going to be a mess. It's going to be not scalable. It's not going to be delivered properly. People are going to be confused. Your internal people are going to be confused because it's just too much. So that's the first item I wanted to go through. And again, like, put things on the chat. I'm going to review that. Yes, we have the copy after that, and you can check with the team. And also I'm going to put all the links there as well. Okay, go to the next one. I'm going to pick up the pace because it's exciting. Time crunch account management. Now that's a good one. Most of the time what we see is that account managers can actually create and plan how much time they are going to spend with different type of accounts. So if you see, we had created a different type of like annual playbook. You go there, you can see it's a blog, how many different meetings you're going to get all over the year, how much time you're going to put behind those different activities, and it's leading you to a really planned, proactive client engagement. So I'm going to put up our second poll to understand your points, where I have the poll. That's good. Go to the second poll, which is going to be plan and execute QBRs. Launch. Perfect. So if you have this bigger idea and this bigger theme of client engagement, what you do is that you plan your quarterly business reviews, how much time you put behind these quarterly business reviews, and also what type of clients are going to how much time from you, how many times you do that per year. And that's a nice looking playbook. You have a list of Jack Jones company, I'm going to have a meeting every quarter, Jill and whatever company I'm going to meet every month, basically. So you are going to be able to have these type of playbooks. So the question is like whether you have a plan or not, because if you don't have a plan, that's not even a start, because that's going to be really reactive, and it's always going to be a different QBRs what you're going to have. The second is you have a plan, but you cannot deliver all QBRs. That's the major issue we see, that if you are not able to back what you planned and what's the expectation you set with the client. So I'm going to stop this poll in a second and see, and I'm stopping now and sharing back. Again, 52% of you guys said that we have plans but cannot deliver all QBRs. That's a typical thing. What that means is that you had a plan, but you didn't have the resources to be able to deliver all of these QBRs. Simple, right? The 33% down, we have a plan and we deliver QBRs, perfect, so we're in a good spot. So let's see what we can do with this middle layer and the higher layer, because that's where we are having the problem. So let's go and check back a little bit of our little model here. So basically what we try to see is that proactive account management is somehow working when you have one or two full-time account managers. So you have one or two full-time account managers, you are likely a 25 plus people managed service provider, which is not that frequent, meaning most of the smaller managed services like 15 people MSPs have probably one account manager, full quotes and like proposals and full of problems and issues most of the time. If you are like 5-6 people, guess what? The owner operator is going to do the account management job. So that's always going to be reactive. What that means is that basically your effort is going to be who is the loudest of all clients, or where you see major issues. So that type of account management is going to be always reactive, so you are less likely controlling the situation. So what to do with that? One of the new feature we set up called touch points. So I'm going to show you what that means, and here we are. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to show that inside the software. So what do we mean by touch points? That if you just able to select for a client, whether you would like to touch the client annually, quarterly, monthly, or not even touching, now you have something which we can measure and which we can put in front of you, who is missing a meeting, who needs more attention. So that's helping you to be more efficiently reactive, right? It's not ideal, obviously, because you need to be like proactive, but that's an idea. You can't have it because you have less time what requires to actually deliver all of your quarterly business reviews. So basically what we created is a touch point alerting system within the tool that's coming next week. So you don't have to do so much. It's just if you go to a client, you can put different clients into different categories like monthly, quarterly, annual. So let's say I have this client here and I'm just editing, and I'm able to choose whether it's a VIP client or standard or low touch. And this is going to get like in a specific segment. So after I have the segment, I can immediately see somebody's like, holy smokes, that's have an issue. Why? Because the touch point status is missed. That means this client was a monthly. I should have touched this client monthly, but last month I missed that. I didn't do anything. So the system automatically tells you that who actually missed the cycle. And you can make a decision, oh, Bobs are okay, they are fine, no worries, I don't care, which is great because you don't have to deal with that. But, oh, Bob, yeah, Bob, oh, shoot, like I have, now you have a way to be able to do that. Second thing, you can see who is actually done, perfect, and who is upcoming. So you can see, okay, who is up to meeting, and you can go through and understand who actually would be needed. This is really great if you have a weekly meeting or like a monthly meeting or something like that with your team. You can triage who needs more help, and you can be a little bit more proactive. So what we had for that is on the dashboard, you are able to see in two different widgets who needs touch and who you missed. So you see missed client touch points. I put it a little bit above. Monthly, Bob's tracking missed one. So it's red, and that's basically a missed monthly. Also, you see here that Bob's missed this monthly item. 2 clients already gone through the annual, perfect. So it's a kind of glance, you can see that, and you can make better, decisions and triaging. Now you question, okay, Dinesh, how you are measuring that? So we are basically checking major activities you do with the client. You create a new project, you make a project, you edit a project, you edit their reports and things like that. So you are not actually measuring whether you have a meeting with them, just you cover that, you've seen that, you did something with the client. If you would like to get more into the activities, I suggest you to use the client engagement excellence tool, which has all these features and benefits to actually put together a complete proactive account management cycle. So that's the item, what we try to make sure that you decide whether you have ability to do account management proactively, then deliver that. But if you can't, just make sure that you are triaging somehow those people who needs more attention. Make sense? Awesome. So let's go and do the next item here in our process is think about now on the preparation phase. We planned for success, so we kind of gone through, what to do, what is our role, what type of activities we do with the client. We set up everything for productivity. So basically, that's it. After that, we have to make sure that this is going to be super productive. This is going to be fast, that's going to be easy, and there's going to be a great client experience, and we can let them making decisions as quick as possible and move to the next cycle. So how are we going to do that? I have another question for you guys, right? Let's go to the third poll. I kind of love these polls. Stop sharing. And then I have the third one, which is perfect, lunch poll. Okay, so one of the major things what we have been working lately is hardware and software and asset type discussions. So this is a little bit of tickly topic because for 7 years we've been working on managed services platform. We've been talking that this is not a conversation you should have on the QBRs. And this is a conversation what you have with the client in the same way as my wife did a conversation with me the other day. Okay, I tell you the story. So we get our car back from the service department, like that was like oil change or something. And we are coming back from a car and she's starting like, Dinesh, you know what, like this car is getting old. I don't like it. We need to kind of change it. And she started kind of like a narrative which triggered me to say, wow, no, we are not going to change it. Not even think about that. No. And all the 15 minutes we traveled, I was full forced rejecting anything she said about the car because this is like for me only a concern of having a car or not, right? So we get a little bit argument. It wasn't really good, going well. And she was kind of demanding, like she was kind of like, why we should have it? Like, I don't care. That is not a problem. We have other problems, right? So, and after that, she said like, okay, Dinesh, but you know what? We're gonna get dinner and I make an awesome steak for you because I like that you like steak. And I said, okay, whatever, right? So that's a conversation. So imagine you have this conversation with your clients. Your client is me and you are my wife. So you go there with all these assets, doesn't have any problem, doesn't break anything, but you are kind of nagging them to change it. So that is the problem. It's not really a business discussion. So what we try to see, perfect, is how we are able to actually have this conversation to a different type of conversation. So don't share this with my wife, but my wife should have some kind of this conversation. Dinesh, we have 4 kids, right? And we have just so short summer. And we are having this camper. And we are creating all these memories together. And we would like to have a trip to Yukon. And I would like to make sure that this is going to be one of the biggest adventures of the family. And you know what? This car has 150 kilometers in it. And I just don't feel safe to go that far. And what is something happening with us? So it makes me thinking, right? I'm not sure it's the best, pitch ever made to buy a new car, but it's give me something to think about. That's something, yeah, I want to make sure we are not screwing up. Yeah, I don't know. That's not bad. And she's saying, you know what, Dinesh, we have this steak tonight. Oh, honey, I love you. So she saw the steak and she get the idea that we need to change the car. So what I try to say with that, and it kind of can be funny or silly, but how you state this conversation with the client is really, really important. How you are able to elevate this super basic type conversation that you have a lot of assets, we are managing these assets, software, subscriptions, services, and all sorts of hardware. And we would like to make sure that this is going to be working all the time. And when my iMac 2017, it doesn't have any problem. Why I should replace that? Why I should extend the warranty? It doesn't make any sense to me if it's one single computer. But if you are telling me that you have 45 computers here or there, and the best thing is to make sure that every year we create a little, project, so we are replacing all the old items and blah, 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 I can have a talk. So what we want to make sure is that you are able to elevate this conversation and get rid of this conversation as soon as possible, get out of the way, and then you can talk about business improvement and more legit problems. Because the problem is that if you are not having this higher level conversation with this low level stuff, then it's going to eat up the time and you start arguments and you start to be nagging and they don't want to change. And this 90-minute QBR, you are 45 minutes in and you didn't have anything good and you just spent 45 minutes of the time, right? So that's what we want to try to solve. So share the results. Why I was asking this little question. So all of you have your assets somewhere. Some of you are PSA, some of you are RMM, some of you are using some tools like ScalePad or something for asset management, and some of you guys have in-house. Now, the problem with these are how quickly you are able to prepare this information so the clients can actually make a decision. So what we try to do, and it's kind of funny that, guys, you should think about ScalePad, by the way. ScalePad is a perfect solution for getting all your assets in one place, never think about, and save a load of time to have the right data all the time in a presentable format. So you can put, by the way, ScalePad, like you can have their report and put it in our report. But what I'm going to show you is how you can actually push through the data as well from your PSA, RMM, and ScalePad if you have one. So let's go through quickly again to the software. And this is the second big component we've been working called asset management. So asset management is kind of a big word for that because we are not really managing any assets. What we try to do is to import your assets into our system and be able to give you the option to associate all the assets to one of those projects you have in your roadmap. So you can create every year a subscription project, hardware like device replacement project, server replacement project, whatever. This is mandatory every year, right? And you are just putting the assets all over the year in different buckets. That's going to be replaced next year. That's going to be replaced this year. And in this case, you are able to handle this quickly and making a more strategic decision on these computers, not like nickel and dime on like this laptop and you know, that firewall. So what you do is that on the client side, you're going to see next week a new tab, and this tab called Assets. These assets are visible inside the reports as well. And we have right now, don't laugh, we have a CSV import, but we have a native CSV import from ConnectWise, Autotask, and ScalePad. So if you are downloading that CSV, we just eat it and we get the necessary information real quick. So one thing is that this is simple, like that's what you're gonna see. You can add the assets one by one, or you can download or upload like a CSV file. So what you do is that basically you're doing it once a year, right? And these are the assets, different categories. So you can select the categories, warranty expiration date we are getting, replacement costs. You can set a default replacement cost. So it's kind of creating some kind of like preliminary budget. But the good thing is that you are able to see which asset is actually linked to which project. You see, these projects are in your roadmap. Implement a proper server, Office 365, whatever. So if I have like this Office 365 subscription, I just like can click on many of these items and attach asset to a project. If I have a templated project, let's say productivity Office 365, good, okay. And basically I made it, so that's going to be now linked to a roadmap. So in the roadmap, what you can see is that you can see all your projects, and each and every project you see, 2 assets belongs to this project. So we associated with that. So if you click on the project, you can see that this is the PowerEdge T60, whatever, and the PowerEdge other stuff. So what we try to do is to not having any management for that. These ScalePads and these companies are creating a boatload of work to unify your, you know, assets and hardware, software. We just would like to make sure that you are able to show that to the client. How many of these items needs to be replaced when? How much is the budget? Tough. Put it in the roadmap and call it for a day and go for the higher level discussions, right? So if you are using the report, that's going to be in a report as well. And also you are going to be able to sync those projects with ConnectWise in 2 ways. So if you have ConnectWise, you can do that and also pull any type of project from ConnectWise. So that's what we wanted to make sure to simplify the preparation process. So it's not going to be a daunting, long preparation, and it's always up to date in that sense. You can download CSV anytime, and if you have new assets, we are going to add the new assets. The old assets we are not going to change, just update if anything new on your end. So basically that's it. Is it exciting? By the way, still a lot of people, like more people in the webinar than we started, so it seems to be okay. Let's go next. What's the next item? So touch point we covered, asset management type of thing we covered. And we are going to have some kind of fun. Oh yeah, the proposal. Cool. So think about that a little bit more in the details. So we got the preparation, right? So we got the value proposition. We decided it's a proactive or reactive type of thing, and we are able to prepare for this QBR and make sure that these type of technical conversations which we have to do anyhow, it's going to be contained and small and, you know, short amount of time. Now, the other thing what we are hearing from you guys is that, you know, after a QBR, how much time you basically spend on creating any type of internal or external follow-up. So think about that. You run the QBR meeting, you create the action plan. So the action plan is there. And then you have to create 2 closed loop items internally with your team, send tickets, projects, so they know what to do, and closed loop externally, so the clients will know what you're gonna do. And the internal loop is not so difficult. You can create these different tickets and projects, but the external loop was always a problem because many times it's just go into as a kind of snowball effect. You start having a couple of ideas on the QBR and some kind of project ideas, and you start following up and create more time. And then when you get there, like you are able to say how much money is going to be. Oh, no way, I don't have that much money. Oh, you know what, like let's postpone for next quarter or something like that. So let's pull the last poll, which is I call time to decision. Now, here's the story. So when you have this QBR, you prepared for this QBR, your ultimate goal is to let them making decisions. So they typically make decision in a project level. Like the ticket level doesn't matter, you're gonna do that anyhow. But the project level, what they need to pay for extra, or if it's like, depending on their time and effort, when these projects are going to be happening, right? So the question is that if you go through the QBR, are you able, most of the time, are you able to make the decision in the same day? To be able to start the proposals, or next day, or next week? Wow, that's gonna be awesome. If you see what I'm seeing, holy smokes. All right, so question before I'm going to end the poll and show you the results, like keep coming, because it's surprising, is we are not salespeople. You are not salespeople. You are a good guy. You are not using sales tactics to close any project. You want something what you believe it's good for the client. And then you have many ideas and you start having the conversations, and after you leave, their window closed. And then what's happening is that, you know, their understanding and comprehension after the meeting goes down dramatically. So guys, I have to let it sink. It wasn't really a loaded question. I thought that it would be next day, but 88% of the people said next week. You are able to create the proposals next week, and we are going to talk about a little bit. So I'm going to pull up this complete blog article we wrote about that the other day. Let me go, because that's going to have a little bit more comprehension on that. The name of the blog quote, how salespeople close IT projects faster. So here's the deal. The real problem on this little proposal thing is the client lose interest during the process, the pain is not there anymore, and the issue is pushed to next quarter. So after a week, you come back to me and I don't feel the pain anymore. You were there and the pain was obvious, but now I have other stuff to do, right? So the close ratio of those projects are going to be not likely that big. Clients realize the higher priority, seeing like an $18,000 quote, because I didn't know what was the kind of implication. You couldn't give me any raw number because it's like kind of vague, right? Many times. And after a week, I'm less interested in general, and I see a big number. Oh, I'm not going to answer this email, whatever, right? I go dark. So the problem is this, and it's not my invention or whatever, don't get me wrong, that's a traditional sales thing, right? So there is an idea in the QBR. Then a long time goes when we get all the information, scope, everything, so we are able to give enough information to the client to make the final decision, all right? The final decision. That's when you are able to create the code, the precise code, $18,453.25 with VAT, right? That's too long. That's when we are losing a lot of time and losing a lot of opportunities. So how to fix it? What salespeople does, they are creating two little items beforehand. One of them they called price test. So they are able to price test with a range of amounts. So if I'm like talking about like a client migration, server, whatever, I can say to you like, you know what, last time we did this type of project with this type of size of clients, it was something around $16,000 to $20,000 project. Are you okay if we are talking about this price range? So two things happened. I didn't give you a quote. I didn't give you a proposal. I didn't give you any price because I said what was previously for others. Not like, I think this is going to be something like that. I'm not saying it's about $18,000. I'm referencing and I'm price testing that if it's a price, you are okay or not. If you are okay, now I can invest more time to actually invest, because the week you said, the week you are able to send the proposal is not because the week is busy. No, it's because you have to work on that. You have to put hours with the team to get together, get quotes and things like that to be able to create the code. That's an investment on your end. And I want to make sure that you are not going to chase all these opportunities, just the opportunities which go through the price test. Second thing is pre-approval. Pre-approval can be viewed as a little bit salesy tactic, but many times you can tell to your clients that we are booked ahead month. I don't want to use the time of my people for those type of opportunities, which is not going to be happening. We have less resources, right? We want to make sure that you pre-approve this project. Pre-approval doesn't mean they have legally bonding and everything. I would like to make sure they just do something psychologically which is a little bit higher likelihood of closing any type of opportunity. So this is what you can do with this proposal process. I'm going to show you how it's working inside the tool. The idea and the shift of the change is that you invest a lot of time pre-project. And I want to make sure you are going to be chasing those projects which has the success factor, and you are able to test these with clients. So what you do, you have a proposal section in your tool, but if you use the report, you're able to create proposals from the report. And also if you are in the roadmap, you see the create a new proposal here. And by the way, you see these little green items. These green items are actually approved projects already here. So let's do a little project proposal. So what you do is just name it like pre-approval, not a big deal, and choosing items from the roadmap. So add like my, like, you, whatever. I don't know what I have here, sorry. Probably get one here which has probably time associated. Yeah, so it's pulling up the quoted numbers, like what you put on the roadmap, and nothing else you do, just like give them like a discount if you are proposing, whatever, doesn't matter. In the note you are able to use like just for reference, doesn't matter. So we don't want to create this whole enchilada of like fear and anxiety that no, that's it. Save and share, you get a link, same thing, same link as you have for the report. So basically you can send this link to the executives and they're gonna be able to have an initial, an email, and approve that. And basically that's it. It's simple, and you are able to get some sort of commitment from them. Many people, we learned this, that they have pre-approval for the annual budget. So they create like a budget item for server replacement, $30,000 end of the year. So they are using that to create this budget, and this actually the client budget. because it's approved, it's more official. Okay, we can expect that we're gonna have that much project by end of Q4, and we're gonna, be able to allocate the people for that and things like. If it's not approved, I don't know when you're gonna have it. You're gonna be end of the line and things like that, right? So I want to make sure that's clear. The intention behind is really to make it quicker to qualify, and you can use the Q&A section to ask questions about these type of things anytime. So perfect. I have a couple of questions there. All right. So we get to the end almost, because we have the closed loop with clients with this proposal type of thing. And if you go to the help, create a proposal, click on that. That has a video. There is a complete QBR cycle, how the proposal fits to the scheme, and then how you're able to do that, what's the features, how to create, what type of, how you can create your own terms and conditions, where to put it, how this is going to look like, who is going to get email, and what's the notification text and things like that. You can see that. Same thing for the asset import function as well, and also the other functions. The only one function I would like to show, which was a big request from most of you guys, the reporting function. I go to the reports quickly and make your report and make your client meetings a little bit better. Let's go to the advanced QBR, for instance. These templates are available for you. And then, perfect. So see here, the table of contents on the left. Many people started using this like crazy. They create like agenda by drag and dropping the different widgets. So basically they are hiding everything, but they are using the quarterly business review section to put different items there. So that's defining their meeting. What that means, if you go back to the first idea, is that make sure you have the value of your QBR. We don't say you shouldn't have all these type of conversation points available with the client, but you are not going to have, for instance, the health assessment or the project details, whatever with the client, or the ticket board. Or you see the ticket board is important today, make it up. And when you have the QBR, the second thing is going to be the ticket board immediately. So what I want to make sure that you craft your QBR, what is the end in mind? What decisions you want to make, and just sort out these reports that way. That's one thing. The second thing on the right-hand side, you can see like a note section. So that is always a kind of like, oh, go up, go down, and oh, where I'm doing the note. I want to make sure we have a note with the client. I have the agenda with the client. So it's really handy that you can create any type of agenda or anything here before the meeting, right? And you are able to just follow through and have and take notes here until you are moving up and down with the screen. Many times, like 95% of the time you do these type of QBRs, Zoom and Teams meetings online, I want to make sure your client has the feeling of control. What's happening, where the guy is moving, what I need to do, what's going to be the homework and things like that. So that's really handy. It's super simple. You need to just like basic, formatting. So the next item is on the top section, you have the export tickets to ConnectWise and Autotask. In the report, we have many different places where you can create a task. Like you have a task widget, you have on the assessment, you have the service review widget, where you can create different type of tickets, whatever, directly, or even here on the major scoring system. So what we updated here is a little bit of more convenience. So export tickets to ConnectWise. Now you see all the tickets inside this report. You can see this is on the MSP all-inclusive service. That's on the task widget. And this one already assigned to ConnectWise. So I can click on that, and that would lead me to the ConnectWise ticket directly. But I can send these two items to the integration service board, whatever, and then done, that's there. And then I have the link back, and I can click and I will see everything. So that's, again, a little bit convenience for the teams, and make sure these follow-ups are as quick as possible. So that's about it. What else we have for the new release is going to be, yes, we updated based on request the little scorecards. So when you have scorecard, you're able to ask for names. So you are sending like a satisfaction survey or something like that. You're able to get that done. So that's pretty much it. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, is that the 4 ideas, again, a little bit of wrapping up: value and value proposition. Go to the article, get these 4 quadrants, and understand what type of conversations you want to have generally with the different size of clients you have, and what you can do with the next meeting with the client to make sure you are able to focus. Second, time crunched account management. It's not a problem. That's happening. Don't feel guilty. Just we don't have enough time and the client doesn't have enough time, right? So we would able to make you more reactive or more easier to see what's going on with these new touch point features. You remember, you just set it up your clients and that's about it. And you get like email notifications, and you get like, I forget to say, for this feature, we have a ticket integration as well. So if you set it up in your ConnectWise account, let me show that to you here in the integration section. You're able to actually generate each and every activity into ConnectWise as a ticket. Many of your account managers are going to use activities. We send tickets. You can create a workflow, switch the ticket to activity. So it's like a tool set up in your ConnectWise, but you're able to say, check which is going to be the two-way integration sync board, and what's going to be the assignee who is going to be assigned. If you are having a team account, then you're able to assign that to any of your users. So each and every account manager is going to sync these activity based on tickets. You can export once a month if you want, or you can basically turn on a complete two-way integration. We have like the ConnectWise staging thing, so it's sometimes breaks, sorry about that. But basically that's how you can set it up. Perfect. What was the create the time for what matters? Again, asset discussions are important, but make sure that you are not having the conversations like my wife had with me. You have a more strategic, more diligent, and more value-driven conversation, and then you show all these assets from the different tools we can have. And 80-20 rules of opportunities, make sure that the 20% of your opportunities are driving the 80% of your revenue for projects. Make sure that you are working on those diligently and not all of these type of projects. So I'm going to jump into the Q&A because we have a couple of questions here. So if you want to leave, and we can have this conversation here. One is, would it be able to integrate the platform with MS Dynamics to facilitate communication among team members internally? Where we are heading is that we are going to have 2 general integration coming probably 2 months, email and Zapier. So what that means is that we are creating, where we create tickets, activities, projects, opportunities, and clients. We are able to send those through email to your support at something, and then your parser can pick it up. So if you have any type of other system other than ConnectWise or something like Microsoft Dynamics, they have the parser. So we are sending to the email address you want, and based on the ticket, that's basically generating inside something you want, like based on names and subject line and things like that. Second thing is this webhook and Zapier type of thing. It's basically more advanced, so you can set it up in Zapier, and when they see something coming out, that's going to be more diligently putting into any type of CRM like HubSpot, Infusionsoft, whatever you are using. So that's a good question. Second, Danesh, can we export ticket to an email address if we weren't? Oh, perfect, Darren. Just hammer that. Score. Next one, we will receive a copy of webinar review later. Yes, you can. And also, just you to know, it's. I think this webinar is really just good for having an overview. If you go to our little help, you know, your tech people, you don't use help, because help is for the dumb users, right? Not for you. I get that. That's why we call that resources, not help. But actually it's help. So if you go in there, you can kind of see most of these items I mentioned. So if you go to like a QBR process, this QBR process is there like in a, I don't know how much, 21 minutes or something like that. People make a joke about my Hunglish. Even like they make like competitions. Somebody can actually watch and understand me in double speed. So let's try. It's just 10 minutes. Some people just understand 1.5. Some people need like 0.5, whatever, just joking. So what I'm trying to say is that if you go to the app, you can see that. If you just look for like proposals, that's going to help you to get a proposal. Oh, proposal, sorry. Yeah, go there. Or ConnectWise, how you set up ConnectWise integration, these cycles. I try my best to kind of explain those like thoroughly, so you can send to your team and have a conversation. But anytime you have a chat, hey, Dinesh, I don't know, we send it back stuff, so whatnot. So that's all good. What else we have for today is for the product update. If we go to the product updates, that's going to be 2021 January. Sorry, it's already February. I should have go through. So if you go through the QBR cycle, asset sync, project sync leads to end in mind. What is the objective? What is the agenda for a meeting? QBR meeting and the roadmap. QBR is your meeting, and the roadmap is where you are having all these different, decisions with them. That goes to a proposal, and that goes to a client snapshot, and forget it. And internal tickets and projects, which is leading you to the next quarterly meeting. So basically, that's about it. We have gone through the syncing. We've gone through the assets, the proposals, and the little updates here. And one more stuff for many people who asked. Now you're able to set up like proper items in the report. So if you are like French, German, other languages, you are able to set up these, or if you'd like to see something else. So guys, thank you very much. We have 4 minutes. Get a coffee and send more emails to your colleagues or whatever you want to do in the next 5 minutes. I'm not going to take more of your time. Thank you very much for joining, and expect this is coming through the weekend after IT Nation Evolve people are not no longer bugging the system that much, and then we are able to put this release to the work. So again, guys, thanks, and see you probably next month if you have a new release coming up. Thank you.